Welcome to the Big Motor Small Blade Podcast. I'm Buddy Pulley.
I'm Seth Dolby.
I'm Chase Folsom.
He is kind of.
Partly.
Are you sure?
I think I'm Chase Folsom.
Spell it for me.
Chuck.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
See, because of, I guess we'll go ahead and lead off with this.
Yeah.
Because of Chuck, Chase has a concussion. So
Yeah.
Chuck
Yeah.
Folsom and the Buddy Pulley.
The Reverend Buddy Pulley certified
Yeah.
ass man when I'm in that state.
Seth left us early on Saturday night. And,
He's a fucking narc.
and we were hanging out with some of the other friends, and
And
I think I was probably going to fall out of the chair anyway because I was rocking it back and forth, and I was already leaning downhill. But
I was the drunk one.
yeah, I know. I was fine. I was just having fun, and old buddy just gave me a little push off. Gave me that Kevin Harvick bragging.
Yeah. Well,
Down the hill I went, and I tried to keep my head up like this as I fell back, and that led to that. So
Yeah.
slightly concussed Chase Folsom, but we're okay. Well, not really, but
Yeah. No.
I'll try to remember what race happened this weekend.
Yeah, we barely did that. It was 4:00 in the morning after the race on Saturday night, and we were like, "Wait, did we see
It was a race?
Like,
We're just playing cornhole, preparing for Sunday's Bristol race. We were like, wait a minute, that was already happened.
Shout out to Lucas from Wisconsin, man. Hell of a cornhole partner.
Yeah, he made me and Buddy look like crap.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I hit that one walk off to win though. So
you did. I hit those 3 right in a row, and that was about all I did that night. I tell you what, 29s were wild that night.
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick finished 29th. I was wearing a 29 hat, and I had 29 beers on Saturday.
Kevin thought your shirt was a suggestion.
He did. He did.
Shout out to SHR with one more tribute to Kevin's career.
Dude. Yeah. Dude, Denny Hamlin got out and said, "I beat your favorite driver," and I was like, "But that was tough."
Yeah. He only ran last all night.
Dude, he ran dog fucking last.
I saw the meme today of like the two guys looking out the window, like shocked and confused, driving. I know you guys, if you saw, you know what I'm talking about. It's like Kevin Harvick running 4 laps down on pace at Bristol, and then it's JJ Yeley passing him for position.
Dude, I was screaming as I said, "Fucking JJ Yeley just passed you."
This literally reminds me of the 2011 Bristol night race when Kevin Harvick got passed by this fucking 71 car, and he goes, "Fucking 71 car just fucking passed us."
He should have recreated that. I mean, dude, we'll talk about that. I mean, I have never. Have you ever? No, I have never.
No.
We literally
terrible.
we talked about this last week about every driver has that one race where they just run fucking last.
Kevin Harvick had his.
Damn foreshadowing. Like, emphasis on 4. Like,
I think he ended up finishing 5 laps down on pace.
5 laps down on raw pace. Go look at my TikTok. I put a funny video up there earlier. It's just literally I was on the verge of picking him to win the damn race because I was like, oh, I mean, he should have won this race 3 years in a row. Did win that one time.
I think I did pick him to win the race.
Yeah, you did. You had a
yikes.
Yeah.
Well, it really set into me after the race when I looked at the points, and I believe he missed by only 4 points.
Yeah.
And it really was like SHR Harvick Haas Racing usually runs about 15th on average. And Kevin will muster up some goods some days and put them in the top 5. But all they had to do was run 15th. Their other 3 cars usually run 23rd, 24th.
Hey, correction. He had to run 25th.
Yeah.
I guess 24th technically because he wouldn't have gotten the tiebreaker.
All he had to do was run 24th. And they could not do that.
Hey, this goes back to last week, Seth. I said that's a 25th place car, and you tried to argue with me.
It hasn't been that bad all season. So
it hasn't. But it wasn't even a fucking 25th place car this week. Because hell, if he would have done that, Harvick could have probably at least gotten one more to make the damn show. Which, I mean, they didn't give a shit. They don't give a shit.
They really didn't.
Hey, shout out to them for not giving a shit.
I mean,
he really got out and was like, yeah, well, we didn't deserve to make it. We sucked half the year anyway. Whatever. He didn't care.
It did kind of hit me hard, though, when I saw a tweet as I was going to bed that night, and I was pretty drunk. And I saw a tweet, and it said, Kevin Harvick will end his career as a single-time champion. I go, oh, fuck. That's, like, real. No. Like, I never thought, like, obvious tweet, but, like, just hit me right in the core.
I never, I don't know where I was going with that sentence. Sorry, concussion set in. That's not what I meant to say.
Concussion set in.
Concussion, like, shut up, Seth.
Here, take five. Take five, Chuck. What's up, Seth?
Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck.
Go.
God bless.
Cut that out.
No, that's staying.
Dang
it. That's just staying. All right. Yeah, no, generally SHR should be fucking embarrassed. Like, they should have had to come out with an apology letter for how bad that was.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Yeah, and like Chase Briscoe didn't even run nearly that bad, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Ryan Preece ran 8th.
Yeah. So that's pathetic. They said they ran the same setup as last year. They should have known that wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't no words. That's just fucking pathetic.
Too much changed about this car, the competition, and this racetrack for them to have used last year's setup.
Yeah.
And expect it to work.
Just for a little bit of reference, Priest finished 12th. Almirola finished 18th. And Briscoe pitted under green there in that last run for no apparent reason and still finished 27th. So.
Oh, all right. I was sitting there. I was like, all right, cool. Briscoe came down pit road. Maybe Kevin will get that spot. No, still a couple laps short.
Yeah. So that's the Rodney and that whole team, they just missed it so bad.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
They'd have had to take an 8-tire pit stop to get on the same lap as Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, a 5-tire pit stop lost them the damn race last year. So
true.
So I don't know if you guys saw the video, but like not his NBC interview, but he was walking away towards the garage, and all the people trying to get their own media sound bites.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney tried to kill Bob Bacchus.
Yeah. What I took from that video is not what happened between Bob and Ryan. All of them, including the lady, the really short lady that was walking next to him, I don't know her name, asked him the dumbest questions.
They asked him the same question 6 different ways.
The most obvious question. It was like a minute and a half into the video, somebody finally asked him a decent question. You could see his face like change. He was like, oh, wow, an intelligent question for once.
I mean, they asked him, what's your emotions of missing the playoffs about 4 different ways. And Kevin was like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, one of them was like, was there any flashes of brilliance from the car at night? And he was like, what do you mean? He ran last.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he literally, I was sitting there, I was looking at it, I was like, I just utter disbelief the whole, I was like, he's literally last right now. Like, I
looked over at Abby, my girlfriend who is also a Harvick fan, and Buddy is to my left and Abby is to my
whole,
right.
Whole
But
damn group of us.
Abby doesn't like. Pretty much, all of us were Harvick fans except for Seth. Aaron is a Truex fan, and mine is confidential information. But I had to type it up for Abby because Abby doesn't comprehend fully like what's happening. She doesn't realize he's going a lap down, and I was like, Kevin is 2 laps down, and she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. So
I can honestly say, and knock on wood, that I don't make it 3. I've seen Kevin Harvick's 2 worst races of his career.
What was the other one?
The Bristol dirt race last year, where he
also
ran
bad.
last.
Well, okay, what did you expect from that? Because
I didn't expect it. I was almost more elated about him finishing 10th in the Bristol dirt race this year than him winning like any race. Anyway, enough about Kevin Harvick. I'll save my sorrow for another day. This has been a shitty 3 weeks, and yeah.
Hey, they're putting all their stuff into Phoenix though, so they can run 15th.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah. I'd like Rick Ware to build him a cart for Phoenix. Maybe they got a better shot.
Maybe.
You know, I saw something today, and it really made me think. And this is the last thing I'll say about Kevin, then we can move on. He signed way back when he signed his contract when he signed his extension, like through 23. And for 7 years, they like improved his career so much where he accomplished what he wasn't going to accomplish with RCR. And then over the last 3 years, they've kind of like, it's going to leave a bad taste in everybody's mouth how he's going to go out because of them, because of how bad they've been the last 3 years.
They have become what he left at RCR.
Yeah. And it just made me think, because I saw this in our front stretch group chat. It was like, should he have just called it quits like 2 years ago, just because he knew the direction this was going? Like, should he have just asked for a buyout out of that contract and just retired or hung it up or looked for something else or something, because it was pretty clear the direction this was going?
Yeah.
And I mean, I know he won those 2 races last year, and for everybody's sake, because I don't like seeing people go out like this, hopefully he wins one of the last 7. Is it going to happen? It's not likely, but
here's my deal.
I hope he does.
Here's my deal with the whole thing is Kevin doesn't give a shit. Kevin wanted 2 more years with that team because he enjoys it. And if that's what he wanted, then I don't give a damn how it really finishes. I'd obviously want him to win 1 more race. I want him to win 7 more. But
I think at this point, him and Rodney are good enough friends to where they're just kind of enjoying the last 7 weeks together now.
Exactly.
And they don't have to care about playoffs and whatnot. And so,
yeah, for
everybody's sake, I hope he wins one of them. It'd be nice if he could win. I would say Martinsville, just so Abby will get to see it, because I'll be there and she'll be there. But
moving on to another thing that pisses me off. They're adding Roval's stages back to the Roval.
Yep.
Seth, I'll let you start us off there.
This is an absolute fucking travesty.
I concur.
How exactly between July 3rd, the date of the Chicago road course, how did we go from that to 2 months
later? The day
later,
of this historic, fantastic moment,
where we had a proper fucking NASCAR street race with no stage cautions,
a proper NASCAR race.
Yes, and pretty much everyone loved it. Sans Brett Griffin, maybe. In 2 months, with another solid race at Indianapolis, and then 1 dud at Watkins Glen. There are plenty of problems with Watkins Glen that don't have anything to do with fucking stage cautions.
Yeah.
And we've gone back to it. Like, this is really dumb. And it's really frustrating for me as a fan who was really looking forward to getting a Roval, which is probably going to be the last fucking one.
Oh,
A Roval race with, we'll get on that later. I'm upset about that too. Without stage cautions. And they said, nah, fuck it. And now we're even going to have the restart zone in the chicane, which, what the fuck is this? Anyway,
I don't know.
I guess we can do that in a minute. They should have them through 3 and 4 being restarted.
Yeah,
that's what they
thought.
should have done. But
through
anyway,
NASCAR 3 and 4.
Through NASCAR 3 and 4. I did say 3 and 4. Sorry.
Yeah.
14, 15, whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah, I mean, we had so far this year we've had 5 road courses. 3 out of those 5 with no stage breaks have been great. Coda was awesome. Sonoma was a dud, but that's just how Sonoma's been. And Sonoma, like we said the other day when we were shooting the shit at the track, Sonoma since 2019, the package sucked and they're running the carousel. 2021, they were running the carousel, which wasn't good. And then last year and this year have been with this car that just don't perform well.
Sonoma is also the short track of road courses. So all of the next gen's flaws are on steroids at Sonoma.
Yeah. And then Watkins Glen is, I mean, it's the super speedway of road courses. It's one groove and arrow is fucking everything. So
you can run
terrible.
You can run all the way to Canada off of every corner. So
oh god, dude, yeah, don't even get me started about that. And then we go to Indy, and it's like the best Indy road course race we've seen.
Yeah. And
Chicago is the best race we've seen this year, in my opinion.
It's up there.
Yeah.
So Chicago is the most legit NASCAR race I've seen since 2007. Like, I mean, and we're just like, nah. We had one shitty race at Watkins Glen that we knew was going to be shitty last year.
Basically, all I'll say about it, because I'm not going to say too much since I'm covering that race on site. This year, NASCAR took the Band-Aid off and then went, oh shit, our on-track product still sucks. Instead of fixing the on-track product, let's put the Band-Aid back on.
Not even a Band-Aid. It's not going to help anything. I mean, we literally saw a terrible Roval race last year, and it had stage cautions.
It masks how bad the racing is, because same thing that literally happened at the Roval last year. It was the worst race I've ever watched in person for 3 hours, and then a sign ended up on the track, and they threw a caution, and then all of a sudden, everybody ran into everybody, and the only thing people remember from that race is, oh my gosh, everybody wrecked at the end, and Christopher Bell came back with tires and won the race. Nobody remembers the fact that for 3 hours, there was not a single on-track pass for the lead.
Yeah. I mean, I titled the podcast that week, Bullshit Chaos, because that's exactly what it was. William Byron, can't stand the guy, made a hell of a point. He said, there's 40 points available at the Roval, not 60, because there's no way you have to choose. Do you want stage points or do you want to win the race? And I mean, that it neuters every bit of this race. And it is this and what we're about to get to, Bristol Dirt being off the schedule. They're two examples of NASCAR listening and trying to make the racing more and just sport in general better and more legit. And they just took them away because.
Yeah. I mean, no argument for me. I know Chase doesn't really like Bristol Dirt, but.
Do we want to move into schedule stuff now then?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So Bristol Dirt. My problem with Bristol Dirt, and my problem always with Bristol Dirt, and I'll play devil's advocate for it too. And well, I guess kind of what I'm trying to say is I see both sides. My personal problem with Bristol Dirt is at the time that they did it, not now, at the time that they did it, Bristol was amazing. And then 21 night race was maybe the best Bristol race of the past 10 years.
Hated that shit.
And sorry, buddy. It was a great race. And my problem with it was, well, you know what? If you hadn't screwed over Tony Stewart and you had just called him up and asked to put Cup cars in on Eldora, you could have had 3 great races on the calendar instead of 2. Instead of putting dirt on Bristol, you could have left Bristol alone and gone to a dirt track. And they still can. But here's why Bristol, and when it comes down to it, their problem was attendance, right? Well, maybe if you weren't running a race on Easter night, more people would show up.
They weren't doing that before.
They weren't doing that before, and more people showed up.
I know that. Well, then you put this thing that you want to be so successful, you put it on Easter. Well, then half the people that would go aren't going to go anymore. I know I personally would have gone if it wasn't on Easter the last 2 years. But you know what? Easter is like a family holiday, and I have to be with family. So I'm not driving 3 hours to Bristol on Easter. And if they had just not done it on Easter, I guarantee you their attendance would have gone up by like minimum 20,000.
Here's the thing, though. It killed in TV ratings.
Yeah.
So.
And it didn't. And as far as, no, I mean, I totally get your point, 100%. But it had the potential to, this is the problem with NASCAR, is they have the potential to make something their own and make something a staple, and they don't give it time to grow. They almost never do it. I totally get the it's a holiday, spending time with family argument, but the attendance wasn't any worse than what the spring race had been.
It just could have been a lot better.
And the TV ratings were through the damn roof. My issue with the whole thing, and Seth, you probably have a more legit and more calculated argument, so I'm gonna let you go last. Here's my thing with it is it's everybody was for a dirt race. Everybody. There was a very small minority that didn't want a Cup Series dirt race.
I didn't, but
everybody loved Eldora, and everybody was like, yep, let's I want to see Cup cars back on dirt. Let's do it. Let's get back to our roots. And then there was Richard Petty saying we're taking the sport backwards. But what does he know? I'm just kidding, Richard. I love you. And as soon as we get it, it's a shit show the first year, and everyone ignores the obvious reasons why. And then it gets better and better both years, and we hate it more and more for literally no reason. And now we have a shitty product on the concrete, and clearly NASCAR is not going to fix that issue. So instead, we, have a perfectly acceptable race. The Bristol Dirt Race this year was great. One of my favorite races I've been to this year. And we just said, you know what? No, we'd rather have 2 mid-ass races on the concrete. And by the way, no one's going to show up. People are going to bitch, and people bitched and moaned about how they want the concrete back. And I guarantee people aren't going to show up. And it's going to hurt the fall race attendance too.
The problem with it is what sucks for Bristol, and the reason nobody shows up in the spring is because the area around Bristol price gouges the hell out of everyone. Hotels outside of Bristol are like close to $400 a night.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And you have to drive 20 minutes to get to anything. So when people, I don't know, there's a lot of issues with it, and I hope people show up. They should have made that race. I'm personally happy that it's back. They should have made it 400 laps.
That too. Yeah.
Because
I don't know, as quick as the damn night race went by this year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Well, it's not about that. It's about the fact that hang on.
Okay.
I'll let you go.
Concussion is like flaring up here.
You're good. Take a breather.
No, I'm asking, did they say in the official statement that there would be no Cup dirt race at all, or no Cup dirt race at Bristol?
No, they said no. They said it's going back to concrete. They said nothing about a dirt race.
I just feel like we would have a rumor by now of a track.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I don't know. I wouldn't, maybe not next year, but I wouldn't put it past them. Because, I mean, obviously that takes That's going to take time and money. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to have to go to a facility, and they're going to have to help the facility by putting in the money to add more seats, because there's not many dirt tracks that can hold the capacity of what NASCAR is going to want them to hold for a cup race.
Hence why Bristol was a great venue.
The only two that can do it, one of them is a no, because Knoxville's way too flat and would be terrible for
and
cup
that's
cars.
where they're going to do it.
And the other one, well, they kind of shafted the guy that owns it, and I think we know what that is. So,
look, a little bit of money goes a long way.
Yeah,
they could absolutely fix that. And my God, those cars at Eldora would be great.
Hey, let me tell you,
great.
Let me tell you, and then we gotta let Seth get his preach on. Tony Stewart hated Goodyear with a burning passion. And what tires do they use in SRX?
Yeah, well, hey, I was standing right next to him though when he was bitching about him at Stafford. So
hey, well, go ahead, Seth.
All right. So in general, the Cup Series being on dirt has merit to me. I feel like
100%.
We've gotten to the point with the past few years with the schedule. We've gotten to the point where it is by a mile the most diverse racing schedule on the planet. And if you can point me in the direction of a more a more diverse schedule, I would love to see it. And losing the dirt race hurts that, in my opinion. Obviously, as a schedule in general, losing what appears to be 2 road courses, maybe adding one more, I think that hurts. Adding back more 1.5 miles, I think that hurts. I don't care if the racing's better right now. We could, like you said, maybe we could fix the car. But anyway, as a Bristol specifically, let's take out 2021. Yes, even though I genuinely believe just having the night race on concrete is a benefit. And if we can't do the dirt race, I think we should only have the night race. I love Bristol too. I think it adds merit to it. But to keep 2 dates at Bristol, I like having the dirt race. I just do. And take the racing side of 2021 out of it. Let's start from 2022. If I had to rank all the Bristol races we've had in the next gen era, the night race this year and last year are ahead of both the concrete races because they were genuinely better races.
The dirt race
was ahead
races. Of the concrete.
That's what I meant. Yes.
Yeah.
Both dirt races were ahead of the concrete races by a wide margin. The 2022 night race is the 3rd worst race I've ever attended. But I don't know. I don't think it's necessary to have 2 concrete Bristol races. I don't think that's the case everywhere. I'm not one of those people who thinks that we only need to go to a few racetracks twice. But I don't know. I'm hurt. That's the best way I can put it. I'm disappointed. Yeah, it feels like a limited. The only cool thing is it kind of feels like a limited edition thing that we got to see a few times, and we're going to be telling people about it for a while. But I don't know. We could have done this for a long time. I think
the point that you bring up about the dirt making the schedule even more diverse is why I think it's not out of the question. Maybe not so much this year, but for moving forward. There's been other schedule rumors. It's pretty well known that I think Wilkesboro is going to have a 400 lap points race next year.
Well, hey, hold on. Before we get into that, I want to close out Bristol Dirt real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I think a lot of this has to do with one, everybody talks about how everybody's gotten on this bandwagon of every track needs 1 race a year, but yet we just axed, same venue, different track. And I think also it's people like Brett Griffin, Freddie Kraft, love Freddie Kraft, but it's people like the guys on DBC who have a large voice in the sport, who a lot of fans take as gospel, get on there and shit on the things that they just don't like to do because whatever, not even with really no no merit or reasoning behind it. They get on there and shit about it. And so, yeah, that's going to hold some weight in the sport. And that gets a lot of people behind it. And now we lose something because of it. It's people letting other people think for themselves. That's really what this is about.
Yep. I mean,
Right,
I did my part. I told Marcus Smith after the Bristol dirt race, I said that was better than the concrete race. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
I think Marcus was completely fine with.
Yeah,
with
I think
dirt,
it was too.
So,
but
yeah, you mentioned Wilkesboro. Yep, probably going to get a points race, which is awesome. I wish it would be replacing Bristol, but we'll take what we can get. I think what it is replacing is kind of cool. It's rumored that Atlanta is going to go back to one date, but they are going to gain the All-Star race, which I think is fun. It reminds me of back when we had, the All-Star race on a, non-super shootout on a super speedway. And I think that'll be fun. I think it'll be really fun.
I think Atlanta's good enough to where, although it's kind of a super speedway, the way it races, since it's smaller and it's already wearing a little bit, it should provide pretty good racing for an all-star race.
Yeah, I think half the field would be fun.
What scares me about Wilkesboro is they're not going to fix the car. And 400 laps there with a crappy car is going to be terrible.
But
I'm going to
a full field.
A full field, a full field will help it, but it just scares me that it goes like this year still, and then everybody craps on it, like everybody does with recency bias. And when there's so many tracks that hurt, like, right, if the car didn't suck, just one last thing about Bristol, if the car didn't suck, nobody would care as much that we're going back to 2 concrete races. If the car was still great there, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. It's the problem that the car sucks there that we're losing a good race for a crappy one.
Yeah.
It's fair.
And so, like, I'm scared that Wilkesboro, and it's gonna be on Easter too, but that's within an hour of my house, so I'll still go. I don't know. I just don't want NASCAR's crappy product to run Wilkesboro to the ground again. It doesn't need to die again. We all worked too daggum hard to get that thing back.
I swear to God, if they run Wilkesboro at night on Easter, which Easter doesn't matter. I want them to run on Easter. Basketball has Christmas, football has Thanksgiving. Why can't we have Easter? If they run it at night, though, oh my God, it's going to be so fucking cold. I mean, you were in the mountains of North. It might snow.
I say they start at like 5:00. That way, like, the last 100 laps, it'll be dark. It'll be like a day to night thing. Started at 5:00 in the afternoon. Because the other thing is, if they started at night, it's going to be so cold. It's going to be like that one time NASCAR decided to run a night Martinsville race and nobody could pass because it was freezing cold and those bricks for tires were freezing cold. Yeah,
I know.
It'll go just about like that.
I was there getting sleeted on.
There were actually more passes than there were in the fall, if I remember correctly.
The fall, nobody cared because at the end of the race, all the playoff guys just started using each other for breaks, and then Ross Chastain did that one thing.
I will say the fall Martinsville, this is way off topic, but the fall Martinsville race last year, I do have fond memories of it because for 450 laps, it was fucking awful. But like, if you do what most DARFs do and take the last 50 laps for how good the race actually was, that was a fun fucking race. Anyway, Wilkesboro, I'm so fucking excited that they're getting a points race. Again, I like Richmond. I like Richmond with this car. This past Richmond race was not fantastic, but I thought both the races at Richmond last year were good.
And the spring race was pretty good.
And the spring race was fine. Yeah. I think it will be kind of like that, and I will enjoy it. I will genuinely enjoy it. Hopefully they do something to the car. I mean, it still sounds like they're still trying to do something.
It sounds like they're working on it. It's just they exclude Bristol from it for some reason.
Yeah, because they can't. Dude, I mean, have you ever tried to install a mud flap that shouldn't actually be there in the first place on a car and install brake lights? I mean, that's really fucking tough, man. I mean, we can't just take those off for that one race.
That would overcomplicate it. That would
exactly. Didn't you hear Elton Sawyer? We have to have everything the fucking same. That's why we bring in stages back to the Roval.
I don't. So to be fair,
that concussion's really fucking with you, Chuck. Go ahead, Seth.
To be fair,
what did I do?
I'm sarcasm, bro. You're good. Go ahead, Seth.
To be fair, I don't think having the short track package with or without mud flaps would have changed this Bristol race or made it better.
No,
I don't think so either.
Wait,
it would have made it worse.
Oh, hold on. I think maybe.
I think it would have made it worse.
How? Okay.
I think every short track race we've run with this package has been mildly worse than it was last year. I thought Martinsville was worse. I thought the fall Richmond or the summer Richmond was definitely worse.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bristol's so much of it
because they keep trying to fix arrow.
Wait, hold on. Was Dover? Did Dover use this? No, Dover didn't use this package.
It's the rest of the car. It's not. Arrow,
it's a mechanical grip problem.
Yeah, and the fact that at places like Martinsville, where you drop a gear in the center of the corner and just drive off of it if you miss it.
That was the one thing I didn't realize we weren't shifting at Bristol.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
There's a lot of problems. I don't really want to get into the whole what's wrong with the short track package. We've kind of exhausted that. Everybody knows what's wrong with it, except for NASCAR, apparently.
They know. There's just the problem. Hang on, real quick. I don't like defending NASCAR, but the issue is whatever changes they could make a wholesale change. Not overnight, but they could announce it overnight. The problem is that's going to be fucking expensive, and they have already put the teams through a lot of expenses in the past 2 years. So
this car was supposed to be cheaper, and they lied.
After this more recent announcement, I think a lot of teams are sitting on a whole lot of pile of cash to make them use it.
You have to sell your assets to do it, though.
If you want to compete in our series and make all the money when our product's fucking great, then you're gonna do it.
Before we get that, one more schedule thing. Do we think Richmond's getting the doubleheader?
I hope Richmond's getting the doubleheader.
I
hope it is. I want to camp there. I want to.
Is it like it? So what do you think of the Thursday Sunday thing they're throwing around?
I like it.
I dig it.
I do too. I think
I like it. I love it.
On the condition that Thursday's a night race, which in theory it should be.
Yes.
Well, yes, it'll be a night race. It'll 100%.
It made me. I like having a Richmond night race. I just do. It probably won't be a better race, but I like having a Richmond night race.
I think it'll be fine.
I don't think it'll be any.
Temperature didn't change it that much last year. We had a hot race and a cool race, and it was fine.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. The Clash is returning to LA. I like that. And I like what they're doing. They're bringing the Mexico series there too.
It's really going to suck when the Mexico series puts on a better race though.
Yeah. Dude, someone tossed around the idea of the winner of the Mexico series race gets to try to race their way into the Clash.
That'd be cool.
A NASCAR house car.
I mean, yeah. I would imagine it'd be a Project 91 car.
Well,
with the Mexico ties.
Justin would do it.
That would be cool. I'm just glad the Clash is coming back. I'll tell you what. I've gotten to go to the Clash. Seth and I both went to Chicago. We've all been to Bristol Dirt. You went to Bristol Dirt, right, Chase?
I went to the truck race the first year.
Okay, so you've seen it. Those are three of the coolest races that I've been to.
Wait, Chase, you went to the truck race and then went home before the cup race started?
Because
he told the story already. We're not going to get into it.
Okay. I'll sum it up in like 2 sentences. During COVID, Dad had to take a COVID test in time to go back to work the next day.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just cool that I at least have gotten to say I've been to those races because they are just so like out of the ordinary, and it's cool. I cherish the experience that I had at all three of those races. The Clash was unbelievable, so I'm just glad it's coming back.
Okay, so this doesn't have anything to do with the impact of the Clash or the experience of being there or anything. The actual race
Sucks.
Yeah, does not interest me in the slightest bit. Like,
and here's the main problem with it: too many cars. That is the
yeah,
main problem with it. If you had, instead of 27 or whatever cars, if you had 16 or 18, it'd be a much more bearable race.
Yeah,
because you'd be able to race. You can't.
But even then, like, I don't know, just a quarter mile doesn't it not that interesting to me. But
we were at Wake County Speedway the other day.
Yeah, with late models, not with cup cars.
Well,
you know what? If done right, cup cars could race on a quarter mile and it'd be good.
If it had banking, maybe. If they could find a way to make banking on there, then
shout out Thunder Road.
No, I think there's an opportunity. I think there's multiple different ways to get around there, but we don't have the opportunity to because it's you can just drive into the back of a guy, and we're not getting to see it. Yeah. I mean, I look at I don't have to get too deep in the weeds. I look at some of the heat races we see some fun action in the heat races.
Those are the best part of the night.
Yeah. And that's just living proof that if we just had less cars, it'd be a better show. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Is that it? Anything else on schedule changes?
Nope. Have we heard anything else on Montreal?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I haven't heard anything else about it. Last I heard, NASCAR told the teams to get your passports. So I would assume.
Well, I hope that happens since we're probably losing the Roval.
Well, you know what, though? Of course, they picked Montreal and not Mosport.
Get ready to speak French, buddy.
Your buddy. They had two options, and they, as usual, picked the worst one. But
I love Montreal.
Mosport's still a better track.
I don't think.
I think actually Montreal would be better with this car.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because I mean, there's several big braking zones.
Yeah, it's more like Coda.
I think we need that with this car for sure.
Yeah. Either way, it's I think a lot of the reason they probably chose Montreal is most sport is very Americanized, I would say, I guess, or more like us, whereas Montreal is definitely the French Canadian crowd that is very exposed to a lot of racing that's not NASCAR. And I think NASCAR wants to get back into that market. And I think it proved to be fruitful before. I mean, most sport absolutely was too, but I think it's just a more appealing market for trying to attract a different audience.
All right. How about the whole charter thing? Trackhouse, Spire, Zane Smith.
I'm excited to talk about this.
One of you guys go ahead, lead off into that.
Okay, so I'll just go and set the stage. Zane Smith, it was announced he's under contract with Trackhouse, but he is going to run for Spire. They're not leasing a charter; they were basically farming out the driver. And it was reports that they bought the charter from BJ McLeod and Live Fast Motorsports. Reports they bought the charter from them for $40 million. Yeah, that's a lot of fucking money. Seth, go ahead.
I mean, that's a big investment to make when they're not even sold on renewing the charter agreement.
Well, you got to think I mean, I would imagine they've gotten kind of the go ahead and the confirmation they need
Probably.
to.
Well,
Because what I heard is no one was selling a charter. No one was going to sell a charter until this deal was done, and here we are.
here's what I've talked to a couple people, and there is a rumor that this might be what happened. There isn't a deal done, and not all of that money was Spire's, and this was a play by all of the teams went in on this as okay, NASCAR, we're going to play our hand. Here's what we want. Match it. We want this to be worth a lot of money, and we're going to prove it. So
makes sense.
That's what might be happening. Either there is a deal done or there is not a deal done, and all of the teams, or at least some of the teams, got behind this and was like, all right, pull the trigger on this, do it. We need to do something so that they know we're serious.
Hey, I want to
because here's why people are starting to think this. Where is Spire's money coming from?
Well, that's what. Hold on.
Hold on. We're talking about a team that 6 months ago was damn near bankrupt.
Yeah.
Gamebridge all of a sudden is pumping money into this. Why?
Why
is all of this coming together? And that leads me to my other thing.
Shut the hell up, I tell you. There's a dark night behind all this. This is my crazy theory. There's a dark night behind all this that wanted to pay a lot of money to get into another form of racing that couldn't. And so he's taking that money elsewhere.
Michael Andretti.
That's Michael Andretti.
That's what I was about to say.
I know, and I wanted to say it before you did.
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense because
it makes a whole lot of sense.
Because the charter isn't Trackhouse's. It would be different if Trackhouse was leasing them the charter, but they're not. Yeah. So the only reason that Spire would want 3 charters is the fact that somebody is putting a lot of money into that team, and it'll be announced this offseason that they're going to have part ownership in it. And that's the one that makes sense because of Gamebridge.
It's a smart play because you could try to inflate the price of the charters to and I feel like Andretti is a perfect person to do that because he was already trying to spend that money, and it's like, hey, here's your play. You can spend that money with us, and it kind of forces NASCAR's hand to be like, oh shit, we gotta really
go ahead.
So I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I know how this looks from the outside, so I'm sure NASCAR is aware of all this if this is actually the case, but the way it looks from the outside is, holy shit, Spire just spent $40 million. That's the way it looks.
Spire and Justin Marks.
Spire and Justin Marks.
But I mean, you gotta. Jeff Dickerson ain't a bum. Like, Justin Marks, we know, is not a bum. Pitbull ain't a bum. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Gamebridge, they ain't some bums, and neither is Michael Andretti, if that's really it. So I mean, there's a lot of big people involved in this, or presumably involved in this. And I do want to say, did we all see the meme of the field going down the backstretch of Daytona with a blurred out car on the apron, and they said BJ McLeod passing the whole Daytona 500 field with a fucking $40 million open car? I mean, BJ McLeod and Matt Tiff, they bought that charter for like fucking $5 million, and they're walking out of here with $40 fucking million. Are you shitting me right now?
They didn't buy the whole charter.
What do you mean?
They bought like half the charter.
What do you mean?
The other guy who already so the old Go Fast
Oh, Joe
But-
Falk, yeah, but still, I mean,
Yeah.
either way, like they made a dickload of money.
It made a lot of money.
I mean, they more like Matt Tiff was a fucking Xfinity driver that like was done, was like had obviously unfortunate with a brain tumor, and like his career was over, and now he's a fucking big time millionaire.
Yeah.
So I mean, good for him. Good for BJ, dude. BJ fucking is there. Hopefully he puts that money back into his Xfinity team, and we see a significant uptick in performance in that car. But these prices, there is a cause and effect to everything. You don't have the small teams anymore. It's gone from the Cup Series. And when I first started thinking about this, I was kind of upset about it. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm okay with it. And I feel like for somebody like Dale Jr., if he wants a charter, probably get a fucking charter. He could probably get a damn charter. It might not even cost him $40 million. It might be, hey, we need you in the Cup Series because you're Dale fucking Jr., in the words of Chip Ganassi. So,
Earnhardt Ganassi Racing, baby.
Dude, I'm not sold that won't happen. But I feel like they almost have to add a couple more charters because it's getting the band is there for it, right?
Yeah.
But you got to find a middle ground in price for some of these people, and I think that will happen with the new deal. Just because you can't sustain without a charter, really.
Yeah.
No.
But there's no back markers in the Cup Series anymore. There are none.
Rick Ware is still
Rick Ware made a big play. They're getting Justin Haley.
And they're getting Roush Alliance too, or RFK Alliance.
They just beat Kevin Harvick like it was fucking nothing in the Bristol night race. I'd argue Stuart Haas is a back marker. But think about this. Bristol night race 2 years ago. How many times did they lap James Davidson?
Oh my God.
It was more than they lapped Kevin Harvick.
A lot more than they lapped Kevin Harvick.
It was horrible. Rick Ware Racing was dog shit. You had Starcom there. You had BJ McLeod. They all got lapped 20 fucking times in a race. They were all terrible, and we were all bitching and moaning about how this shit needs to change, and this shit needs to not happen. It makes us look like a fucking embarrassment that we have this. It looks like what ARCA looks like now. And here we are, a couple years later, Rick Ware's had a fucking monstrous uptick in performance for them. BJ McLeod is out. There aren't any back markers in the Cup Series. Every team in the Cup Series next year, they are a playoff contending team.
I feel like we've narrowed the field.
Huh?
I feel like we've narrowed the competitive field.
What do you mean?
Based off the trajectory since the start of last season. Yeah, everything was batshit wild crazy last year. This year, as far as actual performance goes, it's been Gibbs and Hendrick mostly. I feel like that trend's just going to continue because they have the engineers. I feel like we've just narrowed the competitive field down. When we set the 16 for the playoffs this year, I looked at it and said, "It's a weak field." It felt that way to me.
Last year or this
year?
I think we narrowed the top and we majorly expanded the midfield.
It's all midfield after like 9th place right now.
Well, I think that that's a product of it. But it makes sense because the better the majority of the teams are, the harder it is to go from 30th to 25th, from 25th to 20th. And that's just, but you're going to have to put in the work. And I'm fine with that at that point. Because the cream's always going to rise to the top. Hendrick and Gibbs, they're always going to be the top dog. But if you want to to be competitive, it comes down to, I think you put the work in and you can do it. And you're seeing that out of some teams, and there's teams on the climb and there's teams on the decline. So
good for Zane Smith, though.
Great for Zane Smith.
I'm glad he's getting a good opportunity.
Yeah.
And the whole Trackhouse is they're loading up on talent. They don't got a whole lot of seats over there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if anybody heard, but buddy, take the floor on this one. The other guy that signed.
Yeah, well, I'll start out with this. Justin did say that he wants to keep all 4 drivers. And so I don't know how the hell he's going to do that. I had a theory before the Zane Smith news came out that he was going to buy both the Stewart-Haas charters that are for sale, that aren't for sale. So that could be an option. But if that doesn't happen, there's a certain someone, mi amigo, that's, unless he has some sort of fucking season next year, he's going to be out of the ride again. Because, well, not after next year, I wouldn't think, unless things go really right. But Shane Van Gisbergen is coming. The greatest race car driver in the world is officially coming to America. Shane Van Gisbergen, obviously they announced he's going to a developmental deal with Trackhouse. He's going to run everything under the sun next year. He's going to run Cup. He's going to run trucks. He's going to run Xfinity. Justin Marks hinted at a Cars Tour. Matt Weaver said he wants him to run full-time in the Cars Tour. And Justin said, careful what you ask for. If Shane Van Gisbergen happened to run the Cars Tour full-time next year, I'm going to be with you every damn weekend, Chase. I mean, dude.
That would be fun for me. That would be fun.
This day right here, this day, July 2nd, 2023, July 1st, 2023, I knew who Shane Van Gisbergen was. I didn't care who Shane Van Gisbergen was. July 2nd, by the time that race ended, I was pulling harder for Shane Van Gisbergen than I've pulled for just about anyone in my entire life. This is huge for the sport. This is fucking huge. And I'm fucking excited. I might have found me a new favorite driver.
I'm excited for him. You know what I like? What makes me happy is that when he runs trucks, he's going to be running a Nice truck with Mike.
Yeah, that would be fucking. Yeah, dude. Oh, I want to talk to Shane so bad, man. I want to, like, dude. I mean, please tell me he's going to run some more sprint cars too. Like,
dude, I'm sure Kyle will hook him up somehow. Larson,
get him in every fucking thing you can get him in. Seth, talk about it. I know you love Shane too.
I do love Shane. I'm equally as excited. Or maybe not equally, but I am also very excited. Probably more for like the non-NASCAR stuff he's going to do. Cars Tour.
Yeah.
Definitely, like you said, he's got to get him high limit, World of Outlaws, whatever. Fuck it. Run the Knoxville Nationals. Try it out. Chili Bowl. Fuck it. Let's do it. I don't know. I think that would be the best way this could go would be him dipping his toe into basically every form of American motorsport and just endear himself to everybody. I feel like we don't need to just keep him. We need to be like, here's our Shane that we acquired.
Here's our Shane. There aren't any like him, so we're going to share him.
Exactly.
Dude.
I really like what Justin Marks is doing with him because Marcus Ambrose is a hell of a race car driver. And I feel like in a way he wasn't given a good enough shot to be a good Cup Series driver.
Not even feel like in a way. He 100% was not
Shane
giving
Van
enough of it.
Gisbergen. What Justin Marks is setting up for him, he is going to have all the time in the world to adjust to what this style of racing is over here. Putting him in a cars, even if he doesn't run the full Cars Tour schedule, they said he will be running some late model races, and Trackhouse has a late model stock car in-house, and I think so does Nice actually. So he will be running some Cars Tour races. The fact that they are letting him just run everything is awesome. And it's the right way to go about it. It's the best way to set him up to be successful when he does run a full Cup Series schedule. And I'm really excited to talk to Shane Van Gisbergen in a Cars Tour race next year.
Dude, it is going to elevate every part of American motorsports. The Cars Tour is going to get, you would have thought Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, Justin Marks, Jeff Burton, that was going to explode the Cars Tour. Him running in however many he does, that's going to blow the Cars Tour up. That's going to give the Truck Series a whole hell of a lot more publicity. Everyone's going to get to see that the Xfinity car is better than the Cup car. And then obviously the Cup Series, it'll be interesting to see if he can win him another race in the Cup Series. I would imagine this is who I think he's going to run for. I think he could. It's in the cards that he could run for Junior Motorsports in the Cars Tour or in a late model. It doesn't have to necessarily be the Cars Tour. I think trucks, obviously, it's going to be Nice. It's obviously going to be a Spire 77 Xfinity car. And then, obviously, the Project 91 car. It's JRM late models are the best out there. Nice Motorsports trucks aren't nothing to snuff at. Chase can vouch for that. He'll whip his uncle into shape. Spire Xfinity cars, Carson Osabar, which hell, he's a hell of a driver too, but they're pretty damn good. And then obviously Trackhouse is good. He's gonna have a hell of an opportunity.
Well, those Spire Xfinity cars are
Junior Motorsports cars.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Dale Jr. to having to talk about Shane Van Gisbergen because one, he's calling the races that he's running in. Two, he owns a series that he's running in, and three, he's driving his cars.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he'll run a Junior Motorsports late model because, like I said, that car Suarez ran at Wilkesboro, Justin Marks owns. So he might run that.
Either way, he's running a Spire car out of a JRM shop. So
yeah.
It doesn't really matter what he runs.
No,
it's
it
the
doesn't.
fact that he is running.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe Larson Marks Racing will make a return so they can put Shane in a sprint car.
Trackhouse already sponsored sprint car.
That's true.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's another thing about it is I feel like it's obviously Justin Marks's, idea to have this happen. But I feel like there's a big push behind a lot of people in the industry to make sure this is successful because they see the impact that it will have on the sport.
Yeah. Whenever, like I said, one of the last 12 times we talked about Shane Van Gisbergen, whenever he does get comfortable in an oval setting, put it that way, there needs to be a push to get him in the Indy 500. It absolutely has to happen at some point. Yeah. Maybe 3-4 years from now. Don't rush it, but that has to happen.
If he can make this work, dude, Shane Van Gisbergen, if he's as good as it seems like he can be, he could be in the running to be a name like a Mario Andretti or a AJ Foyt or a Tony Stewart or a Kyle Larson. Like Shane Van Gisbergen is him.
Yeah.
What Justin Marks is basically doing is taking him everywhere. It's like the Hunger Games where they get toured around all the districts, but like he gets to go kill everybody else and you don't have to worry about everybody getting killed. But yeah, no, I'm fucking pumped about this.
I would guess his cup
Makes my
schedule.
dick hard. Fucking.
I would.
It didn't make
Damn
a
it.
noise.
It didn't. Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
I would guess his cup schedule next year is probably every road course
So 5.
and
The Atlanta All-Star race.
maybe
Please,
yeah.
please,
well,
God.
yeah. He's got to run it. He's
Right?
he's in it.
I don't think there's any question he's definitely gonna run it.
But maybe I don't think they throw him in the 500s up front. I don't think they'll do that.
I don't know if he would even. I mean, no, he would get approved, but
I don't think he would want to.
I don't think he put him in the Coke 600.
I was gonna say put him in the 600.
Put him in Darlington.
Put him in the All-Star race.
Put him at Bristol.
Yeah, like I think that like maybe 4 ovals and the road courses and a lot of trucks and Xfinity stuff. And if they actually run him full-time cars tours, they'll work it around that.
Yeah.
And that's only, I think they're possibly talking about, from what I've heard, maybe adding a date. So maybe we're looking at 17 races next year.
Yeah. Just race as much as possible. I
Yep.
want a Shane Van Gisbergen race every day, or every day is race day, or whatever the fuck that Kyle Larson thing was. Yeah. I don't know. And then slightly less exciting news, but exciting for me. Daniel Hemric's going to drive for Colleague in the Cup car. I feel like a lot of people are confused. All biased up front. I'm fucking glad this happened.
I like Daniel Hemric. I just don't know what Daniel Hemric's done to get another Cup right.
He's a goddamn Xfinity Series champion.
Okay.
I don't want to hear anything else about anything else that happened.
You know who's not an Xfinity Series champion? Christopher Bell's not. That didn't really mean anything. He won the most races every year he was in the Xfinity Series. He didn't win a championship. Eric Jones isn't. He should have won one.
Hey.
Chase Briscoe won like 10 races that one year. He didn't win one. Well, I mean,
I don't think you understood that wasn't a serious argument. Here's one thing I have. Here's one thing I will say that I'll defend Daniel Hemric in because I feel like it is legitimate discourse to be confused as to why he's in this car. I think a lot of it comes down to they had no one else. And I really think this is the second big driver that Colleague's kind of blown. Like, that sounded wrong. But I mean, they blew an opportunity at getting Kyle Busch, and they let Justin Haley go, and now they have Daniel Hemric. But I will say, I don't think Daniel Hemric got a fair shake at the Cup Series. He was in RCR for 1 year when they were probably at one of their lowest points. And there's a lot of nepotism. There's so many examples of nepotism that year. As soon as Daniel Hemric, people forget, Daniel Hemric came out the gate, won a pole, and was running respectable. He was gonna finish 3rd or 4th in Atlanta before he cut a tire. The very next week after Austin Dillon ran 27th that race, Daniel Hemric ran terrible the rest of the year, and Austin Dillon ran better. I don't think that's a coincidence. So I'm glad he's getting a fairer shake at the Cup Series, and I'm foreseeing what he can do.
All right, so for Daniel, good for him. For Colleague, yikes.
They're in trouble.
They're
going to be a new backmarker.
Yeah, and also, you're probably right on the Daniel Hemric Cup shake, not getting a fair one and all that.
Yeah.
But I feel like at this point we know the driver that Daniel Hemric is, and he's fine.
Yeah. They seem to believe he's damn good.
He's damn good, but not not better than hardly anybody in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's not to be mean to him. It's just
the Cup Series is stacked right now. And if he can perform at a high level, there's an argument to be made that, all right, he's really something, but we're gonna have to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he's I
Colin,
love Daniel. Oh, go ahead.
I wonder who's gonna drive the 16 car. Because it ain't gonna be AJ. AJ's going back to the Xfinity series. That 16 car's open too.
Yeah. I don't know who's gonna run it.
I got a theory, but he got reinstated like last week.
Yeah, that's
that adds up.
If he's not, I'll put it like Noah Gregson's going to drive for Kaulig next year. I don't know if it's Cup. I don't know if it's Xfinity, but he's gonna be a Kaulig next year.
It just makes sense. He ran their Cup cars 2 years ago, and or I guess it was last year. Was that last year? When he ran
it was 22.
Yeah. And he ran, honestly, of the 3 people that ran the 16 car that year, he ran the best of them. So
Daniel Hemric didn't do too shabby.
He didn't do too bad. But
AJ Allmendinger was running like top 10 all the time.
Yeah.
At road courses.
Bristol, he ran top 10.
He almost won Homestead. Yeah, that was a bad take.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He did. I was there.
It's the concussion.
Shoot,
It's the concussion.
I kind of forgot that AJ actually ran good.
Yeah.
My point was Noah ran good, and he was running like 6th at Michigan and then fell back and then wrecked. But he was fast. He was good. So I hope Noah goes there.
Yeah. But Daniel Hemric, love Daniel Hemric. I love him to death, man. He's one of my favorite people in NASCAR, really. And North Carolina boy. Hope he does us proud.
I'm gonna raise up, Daniel. Take your shirt off and spin it in your hand like a helicopter.
What?
Hey, I'm all for Daniel Hemric I'm all for Daniel Hemric taking his shirt off, man.
Chuck,
that's a good looking dude. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Chuck, Petey Pablo, raise up. There you go. That's some homework for you.
You ought to know that song.
It's the Canes goal song. That's why I know it. I don't know it.
Okay. Okay. So finally getting into the race.
There was a race this weekend?
It's hardly. Is there really anything much to say about it?
Wait a second. Are we gonna let Buddy skip over the fact that Dale Jr. led laps on Friday night?
Well, I kind of meant the race weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Friday night was a really good race, and Dale Jr.
Friday night was fucking awesome.
Led laps.
Dale Jr. was gonna win that race if, a bunch of other things that probably were gonna happen didn't happen.
But basically, what it comes down to is if Sheldon Creed wasn't mad at Austin Hill for being a shitty teammate and just dumped him on the front straightaway, Dale Jr. would have won that race.
Look, I'm here for Sheldon Creed. I agree. Austin Hill kind of sucks.
Austin Hill is
I side with Sheldon too, but Dale Jr., man, he was legitimately leading laps. That was cool to watch,
dude. Yeah, I mean, it was like you were sitting there trying to convince me that he had a shot, and I was like, I don't want to believe it, man. I don't want to believe it.
Well, here's my experience of it. So I was not there, and all of a sudden I
don't give a fuck then.
Hang on. All of a sudden I had multiple people sending me snaps. This does not happen. Okay, this is not a thing. I'm like,
that's not popular.
Yeah, I'm not. So I'm sitting there thinking, did someone get hurt? What the fuck happened here? And nope, it's Dale Jr. I'm like, oh shit. So let me tune in. I tune in just in time for the thing to blow the fuck up.
Yeah. I feel so bad for Abby. I can't tell you, I was pretty drunk at this point. I can't tell you how many times, obviously I was hugging you every chance I got, Chase, but Abby was the closest, the other closest person to me, and I was turning around just yelling, Dale fucking Jr.
Abby got 5 videos of us yelling for Dale Jr.
Yeah, that was awesome. And they caught on fire John Hunter Nemechek's team.
Just kind of stood there and looked at him.
Why the fuck are you in our pit box? I don't know,
Okay.
dude. There's smoke billowing out of the car. Why do you think Junior he's smart. He ran to the fucking pit box that's sponsored by the damn fire, whatever.
Right?
Like,
So I didn't realize, I don't know, buddy, if you did, but I talked to my dad about it. He was like, oh, yeah, we could see on the broadcast for like 3 laps that he was on fire. I didn't know he was on fire.
Hell no, I didn't know he was on fire.
He pitted. We were like,
I thought he had a loose wheel or something.
Like,
yeah.
What's he doing? Well, because he started losing a couple spots, and we were like, come on, Dale, what's going on? And then he pits, and we're like, what's going on? Dad said you could see him blowing up for like 3 laps.
Yeah.
And
well, I guess it technically didn't blow up, but.
Well, you could see, Dad said you could see it smoking for like 3 laps. I couldn't see that, but apparently the broadcast caught it from obviously a different angle than what we were at.
I was looking at this through Hellman's blue colored glasses, so I don't.
And Bush.
And Bush, yeah. Yeah, a lot of beer was involved in the making of the Food City 300.
A lot of beer was harmed during the production of the Food City 300.
Yeah, it was a bad fucking weekend to be a Busch Light. I'll tell you that.
Poor Dale Jr. You know what? I'm sure he doesn't care because his other car won the race. But when
he got to ride to victory lane on it. So.
When the check,
God, dude, I was so damn happy.
When the check hit his morning, Lord, when the check hit his desk this morning that said this is how much the damages are for Bristol Friday night, because his car caught on fire and the other 3 did that one thing where they wreck each other. He doesn't care because Justin Allgaier won the race, but Junior Motorsports had an expensive night on Friday night.
They've had an expensive year.
They tend to do that.
Yeah, they tend to do that a lot.
I was disappointed because Brandon Jones was having a really good night.
Yeah.
And I know we literally, was it last week that we literally talked about this? He didn't make the playoffs. And well, you know what? He gets caught up in everybody else's shit every week.
Yeah.
This week, everybody else was his teammates.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that wasn't the first time that happened this year.
Daytona.
No.
Yeah. I'm just pissed off Riley Herbst didn't win the damn race.
Because you picked him?
I picked him. I was,
you know what? Hey.
I was sold on it. I was like,
so mad at me.
I was feeling so good about this.
Who won the Xfinity picks then?
I picked the winner.
He did? Okay.
Yeah.
Buddy was so mad at me, and I was like, dude, I've never been more disappointed in my life to be right.
Yeah. Man.
Because I wanted Dale Jr. to win.
Dude, Friday, this whole weekend was a great night. Poor Chase had to deal with my drunk ass the entire week. I had a hell of a week. That was fun. I haven't thrown a good drunk and had a just weekend like that in a long time.
So yeah, Friday night was awesome.
Yeah.
So Justin Allgaier walks up. I didn't go down there, but apparently Justin Allgaier walks up to the catch fence, and Evan and Laney get selfies with him, and then Buddy gives him a fist bump and says,
"Oh yeah," I give him a fist bump, and straight face as fuck, straight to the winner's face. I go, "I wish you would have been Dale Jr." And he goes, "I can't be mad." Yeah. Getting into Saturday.
Well, it was better than last year. That's about it.
That's about it. Yeah. Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with the transition the track took from being only a bottom groove track to working up to the top. Yes. I had a lot of fun with that. And then when it was the best, I looked up at the pylon and saw it's 100. We're on lap 170. I was like, oh, yeah, this race is going to suck here in about 200 laps. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like the tire wear was better too.
Yep.
So I will say they made improvements, which is more than we could say about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still not a fantastic race.
No, it was very uneventful. That was definitely back to earlier when we said we forgot the race already happened, because the race went by in like what seemed like an hour.
Yeah.
And there was a rain delay.
It obviously wasn't, but like that race felt like a fever dream almost. Like it didn't actually happen. It went by so fast.
I don't know. To me, Bristol always feels like it's pretty short. I mean, especially compared to like, it's always the race like after the
last
Southern
year
500
seemed like
for me.
it. Last year seemed like it took forever.
Well, yeah, there was like 9,000 cautions. So
Yeah, that was fun time. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think of something to talk about, and there wasn't much.
Well,
I mean,
4 guys got eliminated.
yeah, that's what I was about to
Well,
get
I
to.
mean,
How'd we
hang
do
on.
on that?
hang on. How did we do on that? I got
Hold on,
3
we'll
and
talk about that in a
4.
second.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Then go ahead.
Go ahead,
Seth. What
Seth.
were you gonna say?
The only thing or the most interesting thing to me, I think, for the race as a whole was that the 2 guys to finish 1-2 both had pit road penalties early in the race and had to start all the way in the back.
I forgot about that too.
I think that's pretty interesting, especially for a track that was this hard, that's that hard to pass on. And
Yeah.
there's some strategy involved, but
There's a lot of strategy involved,
there was, but
especially in the 5 cars part of it.
true.
Yeah.
But they still had to make it work.
Yeah.
And they did very well at it. I thought that was interesting.
I'll tell you what, man, they just had to beat that 4 car.
Well, you know what? I said that, and that was definitely. I had 2 bad takes of the week. Number 1, I picked Kevin Harvick to win the race, and
Thanks.
sorry, buddy. I should have known that was going to screw you. And I said on here last week, I don't expect the Toyotas to be good.
Yeah, you had a real bad take, and
They only led all but 69 laps.
Nice.
Yeah, that's actually like a fact. They led.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Who led the other 49? I know Kyle led 20. Who led the
Kyle
other?
and Corey LaJoy.
Oh yeah, I forgot that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, and I believe I said the Toyotas were going to be great.
You had a third bad take, Chase. You said that Kyle Larson will definitely win because he's in the Valvoline car. Well, that didn't fucking work, did it?
God,
you know what? I got close. That was a joke.
You were terrible this weekend.
It was not a joke. You were
had a
dead
concussion last week too. No,
It wasn't my actual pick.
Yeah. Before we get into the
I already
playoffs,
picked them.
Conspiracy theories, Seth.
Before we get into the playoffs, I do want to say this. Denny Hamlin, obviously, there's a lot of people mad that he won the race. He was getting a whole lot of boos. There's even a cucumber thrown onto the racetrack at Denny Hamlin, which I thought was a very odd choice of a vegetable to throw at Denny Hamlin, but also a little bit fitting.
Did it fit?
It was probably loose fitting. But I will say, as much as people hate Denny Hamlin, and I think all 3 of us here can agree, we don't really care for Denny Hamlin that much either.
Well, he's not my favorite person. But
yeah. Denny Hamlin, like I said with Ross Chastain, he's good for the sport. He's great for the sport.
Yeah.
He is knowledgeable, one of the most knowledgeable people in the garage.
Just ask him.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say he did. I don't know if he really cares about the sport that much or he just likes to hear himself talk. He obviously has his irons and a lot of fires in all aspects of the sport. And also I saw a lot of people complaining about Denny and who he is. People complain about drivers not having personality. And Denny Hamlin has a personality and we hate him for it. And it's kind of frustrating, but also, like,
it's kind of the way it is, though.
It's kind of the way it is, but I have fun booing that. If a driver I don't like wins, or if a driver I like doesn't win, I almost want someone I really dislike to win because it's way more fun to boo than it is to just be like, oh, that guy won. Whatever. I feel indifferent about that.
Yeah.
I mean, how much fun did we have booing the hell and yelling obscenities at Denny Hamlin after that race?
I plead the 5th.
Oh, okay.
Can confirm Buddy was relentless.
I was having a good time.
Buddy had a great time.
I had a great time, man. I told Denny Hamlin he wears his shoes on the wrong feet. I told him I hope he puts his sock on and the seams fucking with him all day long. Like I was letting him have it. And it's just Denny Hamlin's a polarizing figure. And it's a lot more fun for me, and I think a lot of people out there, to be able to boo a driver and have just an element that makes the race polarizing to watch and fun to watch. It just invests so many more people into a race. And for that, all the drivers that you vehemently hate, except for Jeffrey Earnhart, I don't think he raced.
Moly, that was a big word.
Yeah. Yeah. Except for I think I got a concussion too. Except for Jeffrey Earnhardt, he didn't make any race better. But any driver that anyone vehement, that word I said, hates, you should thank them because it makes the race better, more fun for you, and you don't realize it until you get old and wise like me.
Can confirm the most fun I had at the racetrack.
Like me.
Yeah, the most fun I think I had at the racetrack last year was when we got to boo and flip off Chase Elliott at Nashville. I thought that was incredibly fun.
Fuck Chase Elliott. But no, I mean, yeah, it is and Chase Elliott. I mean, there's other reasons why Chase isn't even that polarizing of a driver. Well, he's become that way lately. Go look at my TikTok and you can talk shit to me in the comments like everybody else had. But yeah, I mean, it's just as much as we might hate Denny, he's fucking funny, and I'm glad he's here.
I'll reiterate something I said earlier this year. I can't remember when, but I don't really like Denny Hamlin. But that's what I really like about Denny Hamlin.
I'll reiterate this too. I like Kyle Busch, but it's way more fun. I like disliking Kyle Busch more than I like liking Kyle Busch. And that is the exact same for Denny Hamlin for me.
Denny's
in fact, it's replace Kyle Busch in that matter. I like Kyle Busch. Yeah.
I like what Denny does for the sport. And I'm not going to drag on because everything I have to say, you guys have already said, but he's good for it. He makes it fun. You got to have, for it to be fun, you got to have somebody you like and somebody you dislike. And Denny does that for a lot of people. So
Denny Hamlin speaks Denny Hamlin's truth, and I believe him 10,000% of the time. Yeah, other than that, the playoffs happened. Kevin Harvick, if you haven't figured it out already, missed. Joey Logano missed after a wreck with Corey LaJoy. Michael McDowell and Ricky Stenhouse missed. I know those were a big shocker. But give them credit. They did pretty good. Martin Truex and Bubba Wallace both raced their way in from behind the cut line.
All right. So how did we do? How did we do? I know
I got 2 right. I got the 2 obvious ones right.
From the beginning of the playoffs, I got 2 of them right. I had Harvick and I had Stenhouse.
So okay. I guess I won that battle then because I got 3. Because I had the 2 obvious, and then you guys called me crazy for having Joey Logano out in the first round, and well, what do you know?
Didn't you also? I thought you had Ross out too.
I had Ross out.
Okay.
So that was the one I missed.
That was what I was calling you crazy for.
No, you called me. You roll the tape. You both called me crazy for Joey Logano. You were like, okay. Logano out in the first round over Blaney?
Yeah.
I said, yeah.
Now, to be fair, I mean, it took like a Herculean effort from Corey LaJoy to do the dumbest thing he could possibly do for that to happen.
I wouldn't call that
hold on. Joey was going to miss anyway had Chris Buescher not blown a tire last week with 6 to go. So
that's true.
Fair.
Yeah. And also, it's not really a Herculean effort for Corey LaJoy to do something dumb.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah.
But he did about as good on his picks as the team on his sweater did on Saturday night.
Fuck you. Yeah, dude, I just need to stop wearing damn sweaters because every time I wear a sweater, they fucking run like shit. I wore a Harvick sweater just like this on Saturday night.
All I know is
Yeah, didn't he run dog ass last at the All-Star race too when you wore that thing?
Yeah, he did. All I know is I pulled up Instagram after the race. When we got back to the campsite, the first thing that comes up is a Tennessee player and a Florida player like squaring up on the field. And I was like, I said, yo, what is going on down in Gainesville? Hold up.
Yeah. 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 So back to the fucking playoffs.
Back to the previously scheduled program.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say. I thought Bubba was gonna make it. I didn't think he was gonna make it last week, but
Yeah.
he made it. Give a shout out to them. We also didn't really have to do much, but
Yeah.
But I mean, you gotta not step on your dick whenever the people do.
Jordan was about did. Truex just about did. Dude.
Truex did. Jordan was happy. I was happy to see Jordan happy. That was fun to see. It's just it does warm my heart to see him so invested and see him on the top of the pit box, rubbing Booty Barker's shoulders. You know, that excited about to kill Booty Barker. Yeah.
I can't imagine the stress of having to call a race and like Michael Jordan judging everything you do.
Just right there. Yeah. Like just maybe one of the greatest shit talkers. That team has two of the greatest shit talkers in the world as their owners.
That's facts.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I would hate to work for 2311 Racing.
Yeah, that'd be stressful.
Yeah, it would. But yeah, I guess going in the next round, who do we have going out? I gotta look at who the fuck's.
I don't know.
Dude, I don't remember what I did with my crappy piece of paper that had my bracket on it. So
let's see. I'll tell y'all the 12, and you tell me who you think's out. William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick are the top 8. Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Bubba Wallace.
So we also, through every round, we got to keep track of how our original predictions are doing as well.
We do. I don't have them right in front of me. We'll figure that out at the end of this round.
So I know I had – y'all go ahead. Let me look at this, and I'll figure out who I had out since I threw mine away.
Okay. I think going out in this round, I think Bubba Wallace, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I think Brad is I think they'll do fine at Texas. I think that I think Brad will, barring something happening to him at Talladega, which I mean that's what's so hard to pick. I think he'll do fine there, and I think they got a decent road course package.
Who did you just say? Sorry, I was not listening.
Ross, Blaney, Wallace, Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch.
Okay, so my 3 that made it that I had out were Kyle Busch, Bubba, and Reddick.
Okay.
And I am sticking with those 3, and I had Harvick out, and the guy that beat him I'm gonna have out, which is Ross.
Okay.
So I'm sticking to my guns on this one.
Why do you think what do you think Reddick's gonna?
It just feels it's kind of one of those things like Joey. It just feels like this round presents itself for Tyler Reddick to do something, or that team to do something stupid. Like, I feel like Tyler Reddick's the guy. I got a gut feeling Tyler Reddick's the guy that, unless they go out and win Texas, which they very well could, he's going to get caught up in something stupid at Talladega that isn't his fault, or maybe is his fault, but he's going to get caught up in something at Talladega, and they're going to have to win at the Roval. And then when Tyler Reddick has to win, you got a 50-50 shot of him driving over his head and doing what Kyle Larson did at the Roval last year.
They could win the Roval, though.
They could win the Roval.
They could win. I just it's just like the Joey Logano thing. I don't really have a good reason. it's a gut feeling.
Yeah, you put a lot of pressure on this team, and they do tend to fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I mean the Bubba one road course. They're if they don't win, road course is not going to be kind to them.
I just don't run good enough. I don't think Blaney.
I picked Blaney just because of Talladega, and the Fords are going to be good there.
Yeah, I mean, his only saving grace is he won the All-Star race last year. He's good at Talladega, and he won the first Roval. I think that's the only argument you make for him.
A lot of shit had to happen for him to win the first Roval, though.
That's true. That's true. That's very
and the
true.
car was good back then too.
Yeah. Ross. I mean, the four guys I got out, I feel like they're kind of obvious why they're going out. Like, I mean, they've probably been the four worst cars out of these. I mean, Kyle Busch obviously has won 3 races, but
they haven't been good since June.
The fuck else have they done? Yeah, exactly. So
I just feel like in every round there's got to be one. There's got to be one that they should make it and something happens and they don't. And
which is why I keep thinking that 5 is going to find a way to be out. I know they did literally just have their best stretch of races all season, but Texas, again, like I said earlier, we don't know. They could win Texas, obviously, but they're going to wreck at Talladega, barring no wrecks. They're going to wreck at Talladega. And, well, I mean, we just saw Kyle qualify dead last at Bristol, so I don't know about... We saw the last road course. Kyle did something ridiculously stupid at the end of it. So, I don't know. I feel like that could be the big oh shit moment in this playoffs.
I feel like I do worry about that. 12 points for that team is not enough. And if they don't go out and have a really good run on Sunday at Texas,
I feel like they kind of have to go. They need to go into Texas like we need to win this race.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they will.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? And they're good there. And Texas is going to be the Toyotas and probably the Toyotas in the 5 car.
Yeah.
Just like Saturday night was.
They are firing. They are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And he was really good there last year. And in the first half of the race, before it became apparent that tires weren't going to last and it was hard to pass, and Cliff made a bad strategy call and got him set way back in traffic because in the first stage and a half, I believe, him and Denny were the class of the field, if I remember correctly. And
I don't remember at all.
I know they raced each other really hard for a stage there in the first part of the race, and Denny was mad at Kyle for it. And after that, I remember Kyle got stuck in the back, and then it was whose tires aren't going to fall off the race car.
Yeah.
So
now, I mean, I say this. We bring up Kyle and the Roval all the time. I feel like that's mildly unfounded. I mean, he should have fucking won in 2018. They were up front and won a stage in 2019, back before they weren't pitting before the stage 1 was over back then. And then he literally did win in 2021. So I don't know. I feel like we overdo the Kyle's not very good at Roval thing. I think
he's fine there. It's just it presents an opportunity, like I just said with Reddick. People like the 2 of them and Bell. They are maybe the 3 most talented drivers in the series, raw talent wise. They just overstep their boundaries all the time. And they get themselves in trouble all the time. And it's going to jump out. The Roval's going to jump out and bite one of them.
Talladega being there is the biggest issue for Kyle Larson specifically.
Yeah.
The biggest issue for everybody.
It is, but I don't know.
The 5 car has a black cloud. If anybody hasn't noticed, when they go to a super speedway, that 5 car has a black cloud over it. And if it finishes the race, it finishes the race outside of the top 20.
Is there anyone else in the playoffs currently that has this bad of a plate racing record? Is there anyone?
See. Byron, no.
Byron's
Truex.
won. Truex hasn't won, but he's been better than Kyle.
Okay, Denny definitely not. Busher, no. Kyle Busch literally won there this year.
Yeah, that was the first time in 15 years.
But he's always been close. Like he always runs up front. Maybe Bell. Maybe Bell. Reddick. Reddick is kind of just there. Ross has won one. Obviously not Brad or Blaney or Bubba. So yeah, Kyle is terrible at those races. It's
historically ass.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
We're boring, buddy, with this one.
I don't know. That's why we run the race.
Yep.
That's all I got to say.
But you know
that.
what, though, is that there might not be a wreck if there wasn't one last year.
Yeah, but that's because they were racing scared.
And they're really.
I love how we set up for the way.
Was there one this year? Was there one this year until the end? I don't think there was one until the last lap.
There was
a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, they were towards the end.
Chase Briscoe wrecked.
There wasn't a big one until the end.
No, there wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It is funny the way the playoffs are set up. I really hate the round of 12.
Yeah, and I
rightfully
think
so.
Yeah, I think it definitely presents the opportunity for the biggest of names to, be put out. But not in a way. It's good because you gotta be good everywhere, and you gotta fire on all cylinders, and you gotta be smart.
Should have acquired more playoff points in the regular season.
Yeah.
What's crazy is once you get past the round of 12, the round of 8 caters to certain drivers so well. Like
Kyle Larson.
There's certain people, and Larson included in this, I'd say the 5, the 11, and the 24, if they just make it to the round of 8, they're going to Phoenix.
I mean, people were saying that about Martin Truex a week ago or 3 weeks ago, and he damn near missed the round of 12.
Well, but that's my point is Martin Truex, though, isn't good at Bristol, and he showed that Saturday night.
Yeah.
Like those 3 cars, if they just get to the round of 8.
Well, that's more my point. It's not about Bristol. It's more they're good at Darlington. Historically, they run. Yeah, anything. It doesn't matter. Anything can happen.
This is true.
Kevin Harvick entered the round of 8 in 2020 with the biggest of points cushions, and just had a fucking round.
Well, ultimately, different format, but in 2014, we saw Jeff Gordon run second and then damn near win Texas and then finish second again and miss the round of 4. So, again, different format, but yeah, you can run great all you want, and it's not necessarily always going to work out for
you. Getting in the picks. Yes or no question. Was Bristol a good race?
No, I'm just going to say no for simplicity's sake.
It hurts me, but no.
It was mid.
Yeah,
I'll give it that.
Mid.
Yeah,
it was mid. We'll come up with a scale next. Here in the next.
That's the thing
weeks.
I don't like about the Gluck poll. If a race is mid, I just go no.
Yeah. We'll work on that. We'll bring back the old bitchin' scale.
Yeah.
We'll come up with actual tiers for the bitchin' scale.
Yeah.
Instead of just absolute chaos. Picks. I picked fucking Brad Keselowski. He decided that he was not going to show up.
He did at the end.
I guess.
He didn't beat Kyle, though, so.
He didn't beat Kyle Larson, and he didn't beat.
No.
He did beat Kevin Harvick, which, I mean, fucking JJ Yaley beat Kevin Harvick.
Yeah. Seth, you had Larson. He got second. Brad ended up 8th at the end. He drove from 20-something to 8th in that last
That's
run.
who finished 8th.
He literally drove from 20-something to 8th.
Yeah.
Well, damn.
So Seth is beating me in the picks. I am just giving this away. So we're going to where the fuck are we going? Texas? Oh, great. Fuck, dude. Fuck this race. Fuck this racetrack. Can we move Texas out of the playoffs?
Can we get rid of Texas altogether?
Yeah. Can we blow it up?
Hey Marcus, you know what Marcus should do? Instead of removing a date from one of the 3 tracks in the Southeast that really want one, Bristol, Wilkesboro, Atlanta, he should just blow Texas the fuck up and move that date back to Wilkesboro so it can come full circle.
Or we can just run Bristol 2 weeks in a row, but one of them's concrete, one of them's dirt.
Yeah, because that'll work. 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Sure, that's how that works.
Yeah. Exactly.
No biggie.
Hey man,
Fuck it. I'm
Saturday,
Sunday.
Hey, look, if I'm gonna bitch about something, I'm gonna present a solution for it.
We'll run the dirt race on Sunday. And we can just bring helicopters, airmail that shit in there, and just let it fall on the track.
Hell yeah. Fuck trap crap.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't say that on the podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, picks for T Haas.
I'm gonna go with Tyrone Gibbons.
Tyrone Gibbons. All right. Chase.
Skip me. Haven't picked yet.
Okay. All right.
My brain's malfunctioning. Okay.
The whole fucking world is gonna love me because I'm gonna pick
Hamlin.
this person, and he's definitely not gonna win. Now that I'm picking him, Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been the best car in the past 3 weeks. So,
yes.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Chuck.
Shackelford.
Charles Entertainment Foursome.
You know what? I am going to go way out on a limb here.
Wait, hold on. Let me guess. Carson Hocevar.
No, but he was running 6th at Bristol. No, Texas always last couple years seems to lend its hand to non-playoff guys a lot. They run good there for some reason.
Are you picking Kevin Harvick again?
I'm going to pick Chuck.
Oh, okay.
Old Chuck Elliott. That's my pick for this week.
I mean, he did wreck out of the lead there last year. I mean, one of like 7, but still.
Yeah.
I think he was the first one to do it, though.
Was he?
If it means anything.
It was.
So
that's fair.
It was.
So I'll take him. I think the only week I didn't make a pick was Kansas.
Who would you have picked at Kansas?
He's going to say Tyler Reddick.
No, actually, I would have said the 20.
See, I don't buy the 20 right now. I mean, they've got 3 poles and
actually, no, I take that back. I was going to pick Bubba. Sorry, I was going to pick Bubba.
Yeah. Okay. Either way, sundress and dumbass. Seth, who's your sundress?
I got one I want to do. I don't know if we want to go down that road.
Okay. Yes.
I think you know what I'm saying.
Yes. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that. Chase.
Yep.
Sundress, Michael McDowell. I said he would run good. And he ran top 10 all night, finished 6th. I know they missed the next round. It wasn't enough, but good for them. They ran really good. That team's moving upward, and they should be just fine next year.
Yeah, and Todd didn't. He wasn't doing too bad either.
No.
They need to get the fuck out of the way, though.
Neither of you guys picked this guy, so I guess I got 2 because I was hoping you guys would pick up. Carson Hocevar continues to just be him. He was running top 10 most of the night, ended up, I think, 11th.
They had a loose wheel at the end.
And after a loose wheel. So he ended up 11th, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then my other one is Clifford the Big Red Daniels. Dude, he was out there catching tires.
Oh yeah.
I don't work for the team, but I'm ready to run through a brick wall for the motherfucker. I mean, dude, I love this man. Like, he is a badass. I mean, yeah, he's just catching tires, but he's down there. It means so much more than that. He's down there on the ground level with his boys, letting them know that, this is us. We are all, that is our driver out there. we are his team. You are my guys, and y'all are that to, you know what I'm saying? Cliff Daniels is fucking awesome. Go look at the damn video NASCAR posted on their social media of Cliff catching tires. It's pretty, it's cool. It's just cool. I'll leave it at that.
All right.
Dumbass, Seth.
Stewart Haas Racing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Junior Motorsports.
They won.
I don't care. They wrecked their other. You know what? They could have had 5 cars in the top 5 if they had just not stepped on themselves. And they stepped on themselves and they wrecked 3 and they let the other one, the most important one that shouldn't catch on fire. So I don't care that they won.
Okay. Man, I don't know. I give us credit for as wild of a weekend we had. No one did anything that fucking dumb.
Chuck got a concussion.
Yeah, but that was he had help.
Can I say something? Can I correct myself? Not specifically Junior Motorsports. Josh Berry and Sam Mayer. Not Junior Motorsports, just Josh Berry and Sam Mayer. Why did they door each other twice going down the front straightaway that led to them wrecking 3 team cars? I don't know, but they did. And it was pretty clear one hit the other, and then the other one hit the other one back, and then they wrecked. And then, yeah, me.
Man, I don't know. There are a couple of John Hunter's team for just being oblivious to the fact that the car billowing smoke stopped in their pit box, and them just being like, why is this like just oblivious?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's a good one. I feel like I had another one. Can't think of it. So we'll give it to them, and also Stewart Haas Racing. And everyone who asked Kevin Harvick a question after that race. Like,
how does this affect your playoff chances?
I couldn't get over the one where they asked him about if the car had flashes of brilliance. And he was like, I finished 5 laps down. What do you think?
I think the perfect Kevin Harvick answer would have been, and it would have fallen right in the category of when they ran the fucking underglow at the All-Star race, and he said, I hope mine falls off. It would fall in right in the category when someone asked him, was there any flashes of greatness? And if he would have just said, it would have been great if my car would have flashed in flame. If I would have got a flash of fire, I could have parked this son of a bitch.
I think his exact words were actually, no, there was no flashes of brilliance. The thing sucked from the time we unloaded it.
Yeah. 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 I'm done.
Yeah, I was about to say. All right. This has been the Big Motor Small Blade podcast. He's been Buddy. He's been Chuck. I've been Seth.
He's been concussed.
He's been concussed severely.
I'm ready to shut the lights off.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Go fuck yourself.